Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me here today, Don and Ellie. And today is a special day. I'm glad to be joined by the filmmakers of a special short screening at Fantasia Festival, the creators of MonsterDyke. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Mariel Sharp, and I am one half of MonsterDyke.
And I'm Kaye Adelaide, and I'm the other half of MonsterDyke.
Okay, great. So before we get started, just wanted to run a little background about you guys. Get your interest, your early start in filmmaking, where you guys came from, and stuff like that before we dive into the short.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, Kaye and I met in film school. We both did film production at Concordia here in Montreal. And it took us a couple of years to really get to know each other. And when we did, we fell for each other and decided we wanted to make queer horror movies together.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to talk about background, I mean, I guess we're both like genre movie fans. Like in our film school, it was not a popular thing to be a horror movie fan. There, it was very drama based, which is not really our thing. So it was nice that we were part of a very small clique of people who were interested in the fantastical beyond just the family drama.
All right, so the new short screening at Fantasia is called MonsterDyke. So where did the inspiration for that come from? Like, how did that all come together, and like, what's it about?
Well, I mean, do you mind if I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a project born of the pandemic. We weren't able to do big sets. We wanted to make something and keep growing creatively, but we had to kind of limit ourselves to just us two plus two other people. And we ended up working with our amazing art director, puppeteer, co-sculptor, Stephanie Burbano, and our amazing cinematographer, gaffer, grip, Naomi Silva-Vizina. So we kind of started the project just thinking of something we could do within scope. And then, yeah, like the idea for it really came very naturally. I'd say there's something I think we wanted to do, something kind of provocative, something a little bit, I don't know, I think one of the inspirations that I think, you know, as a queer person, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, they don't really like see our relationship as like, I don't know, like how to say it, like people sometimes think there's something weird about like lesbian sexuality. And so I feel like there was something kind of reclaiming about the process of being like, okay, well, we want to celebrate like diverse forms of love.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, I mean, I think something we've also said, like, I think that goes double for trans lesbians, that's even more confusing to people, that a trans woman would not be trans just for the sake of appealing to men is confusing to some people. So I think in this funny way, it's like my character dating, sleeping with, being in love with the monster is as shocking and confusing to some people as a cis woman dating me, you know? And so there's that kind of, I don't know, funny scale of like people taking offense to people minding their own business. Like, I don't know, like, you know.
So yeah, I think making the short is just a way of sort of celebrating like uniqueness, celebrating like, you know, who we are, and sort of, yeah, being provocative and being like, yeah, this is fucking awesome.
Okay, so compared to some of your previous shorts, like what difference was there, like creating the project? I mean, obviously with all the safety protocols and stuff, like that's a given, but like any of the other stuff that you found like from your previous shorts that, you know, compared to like the process of this one?
Yeah, I think shooting on film was definitely different, and I think worked well for the restrictions and limitations. We didn't want to do like a multi-day shoot, and we didn't want to have something that was going to take months and months to edit because we shot like so much footage. So we really had to plan and have a very lean shot list and a single night of shooting, because we only had so much film stock to work with. And it also, yeah, forced us to sort of really plan our shots, because we didn't know if we got them or not. We didn't have playback. It's an old wind up camera, so it's very basic. You fire it off and you have no idea if it came out till it comes back. So we had to really hope for the best and keep moving. And I think that was an attitude that is different than shooting. Like our last short we shot on digital, we shot with 2 cameras simultaneously, and so it was just tons and tons of footage and coverage of everything. You know, sometimes we had 4 angles of the same thing or more, and here it's like not like that at all. So it's very different style of filmmaking.
Yeah, we shot about 7 minutes of footage, and the film is 4 minutes. So we used almost everything that we filmed.
Oh, so was the relationship like supposedly the integral part of what you wanted to create with the short, like the, you know, how she could, you know, how it comes to life and all of the, you know, various interactions that the 2 of them have? Was that like a conscious part of it, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a lot about desire, about I think again that it's a pandemic project. I think there's probably some metaphor in there of the relationship that I think a lot of people were feeling, and maybe we were feeling on our own level, even though we live together and have each other. I think during that like deep lockdown phase, I think a lot of people were feeling like they wish they could make themselves a friend or a lover or a buddy out of clay and bring them to life. You know, just this sense of isolation and wishing to connect with someone, but feeling like there's no one around. And so instead connecting with your art, which was kind of what we were doing.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like such a great excuse even to be around 2 friends to work on this. We felt very lucky to be able to do that. So I think that's probably
that worked its way in.
Yeah, part of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it too is like it's very tactile film. Like we were inspired by like erotica, you know, like older porn films and stuff, because it's about like the experience of watching it, you know. It's kind of, we wanted to like take viewers like on a ride basically, and kind of with a theme of awakening, you know. And I feel like quite a few people we showed it to like were like, that gave me some tingles, and we were like, that's what it's supposed to do. So good.
Mm-hmm.
So with the, you know, obviously with the, you know, the like the pandemic guidelines and stuff like that, like how did the puppet, like was the working with that, like what, like difficulties with getting it to work right, or all of the, you know, different movements and that went into it? Like how did that work out on set?
Yeah, I think that's interesting, because I think that's a big reason that it ended up being a puppet, is that you know, often for this type of effect it would be more of a makeup effect than a puppet effect. You know, it's roughly human size and shaped. You could have a person in a suit, but then to have such an intimate scene with them, you would certainly be against protocol. So instead we made it a puppet, and a lot of what you see is actually reverse gags. So for example, like a tentacle would be already wrapped around my arm, and then we would pull it off and then play it in reverse, and it looks like it jumps up and wraps around my arm. So in a way that, you know, that's just someone off camera pulling it away. But then the most of the animating is kind of classic Muppet style, that the monster is sitting on top of like a wooden box, and Stephanie, the art director, and many other roles in this, she was crouched down inside that box and reaching up and putting her hands through the mouth of the puppet, and had a little flap she could manipulate to make the eyes blink. And in parts where, say where I'm kissing the monster, there's actually a little rubber tongue that her fingers went inside of, so she could move the tongue around to animate that also.
So technically you're kissing
Her fingers
her
kind of,
fingers,
yeah.
but with this like rubber. So I mean, it's definitely, I mean, you could definitely say it's safe sex for sure.
Yeah.
Because there was like always a rubber puppet.
Yeah. It's kind of a full body condom in a way. Yeah.
All right. So what kind of hopes do you have for the short when it's moves out of the festival and out into the public at large?
I mean, honestly, I think we're pretty much open for it to go wherever it goes. Like this project was really born like really from pure passion, and like I think some of our previous work we've kind of done more with like, oh, where are we going to distribute this, or like what festivals are we going to go to, and trying to kind of craft the work for that. But with this, we really took a more open approach, just being like, let's just make whatever we want and let's just send it out and like see what happens. And I think we're just fully open to people's reactions. I mean, I want to show it to as many people as we can. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure at some point it'll be online somewhere, and hopefully it can cause a few lesbian awakenings. That would be my goal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since you've actually answered a couple of mine that I had pre-prepared, I guess that's really all I have for now. If you guys want to go ahead and give your social media outlets, so go ahead and give that a plug for people to find your work.
Yeah, I am on Instagram at k.everyday.
And I'm on Instagram also, and I'm at True Sweetheart, all one word, and then underscore. So True Sweetheart underscore.
And Andromeda, she's kind of off the grid. She doesn't go on social media, so you'll have to just hope you run into her in the streets or in the ocean. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, definitely remember that, folks. All right. Well, yeah, this was a blast. So, thank you again. This was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us. Thanks for your questions.
Thank you. All right.